Welcome to Richard Mabey Presents.
Hello, YouTube friends. This is Richard Mabey with Richard Mabey Presents. It's Tuesday morning, September 12th, 2023. In this episode, it's going to be a little change of pace. Going to try to do something educational. A change of pace, we're going to do something educational. Take a look at the aortic valve. And I know a lot of you immediately just shouted for joy and jumped out of your chairs and said, wow, that sounds exciting. But yeah, this little valve, this tiny little valve in your heart, if it gets damaged, will shorten your life. It will make your life difficult. Doing something like trim the hedges, a normal person could trim all 12 hedges and not think anything of it. If you have a damaged atrial valve, you trim about 3 hedges, and you get to the 4th hedge, you start doing trimming the 4th hedge, and you're winded, you're exhausted, and you feel like you're going to faint. It's a fun time at the OK Corral when you have a damaged atrial valve. So we're going to take a look at the atrial valve. Why not? And hopefully it'll be educational, So I got the old Sunoco hat from when I lived in Lincoln Park. There was my cousin, Bruce Mabey, owned a Sunoco gas station about 3 houses down from me. So it was kind of a cool thing. And all my cousins worked there. My cousin Wes worked there. My cousin Al worked there. It was kind of a neat thing. So I said, put on the old Sunoco hat. So, and also, yes, I am homesick this morning. I put on the old Lincoln Park shirt there. Got the old Lincoln Park shirt on. So, yeah, take a look at the aortic valve. Why not? It'll be fun, educational. My new pursuit, the new pursuit of Richard Mabey present educational material. That'll be a change of pace. So, well, without further ado, here we go. So, YouTube friends, today I just want to focus on the aortic valve. This will be a little change of pace from our normal YouTube episode, but here is the aortic valve. The blood is coming in from the lungs, and ironically, even though the blood is oxygenated, it's called the pulmonic vein, because actually it's actually coming in to the heart as opposed to exiting the heart. So the pulmonic veins come into the left atrium. When the mitral valve closes, the left atrium is allowed to fill up with blood. And then when the mitral valve opens, the blood from the left atrium goes into the left ventricle. And then the mitral valve closes. You have the right ventricle and left ventricle. Now, inevitably, I remember studying the heart and saying, well, why is the left ventricle on the right-hand side? Because this would actually be the patient facing you. So it's kind of a Twilight Zone thing. You're actually looking into their heart, but they're facing you. So the blood fills up in the left ventricle. Now, when the heart pumps and the ventricles squeeze, the aortic valve opens, as you see here, like a little thing. And the blood exits the ventricle and gets pushed out into the ascending aorta, and then around through the aorta. And then these major arteries go to the head and to the arms, and then you have the descending aorta, which is headed downhill to go to the rest of the body. Here's a little bit of the descending aorta here. So when there's damage to the aortic valve, which I'm facing, they call it aortic stenosis. So when the blood comes in from the pulmonic veins, fills up in the left atrium, the mitral valve is closed, and then the mitral valve opens and the blood pours forth from the left atrium to the left ventricle. When the mitral valve opens, the aortic valve is closed. So it comes in, fills up with blood, oxygenated blood. However, if these valves do not properly close, as in the case of aortic stenosis, the blood comes down, fills up, and just keeps seeping out. So this sac, this little bag, if you will, this container called the left ventricle, it never really gets to fill up like it should, because its blood is leaking. So it's a really serious thing. And it actually, when a person has a damaged aortic valve, they'll get winded very easily. They'll tire very easily. And it's a very strange, eerie thing psychologically, because, say, oh, I got a little bit of a cough here. Say if a person goes out to do their hedges, go out to do their hedges, by the time they've trimmed up, they've got like 12 hedges to trim. By the time they're done with their third hedge, it's time to take a little rest and sit beneath the oak tree and read a Dick Tracy comic book. So, and then the neighbors walk by, John Doe walks by, walking his dog, and he goes, "Oh, that guy's a lazy bum. Look at all the hedges he's got to do." Look at all the hedges he's got to do. And he's just sitting there underneath this oak tree. That's kind of it, And, it's always an interesting thing, But there it is. This tiny little valve decides if it's damaged, will take years off your life. There's no magic elixir. There's no pill. There's no, magic formula. No witch doctor to go to. The only way to fix this valve, aortic valve, when it has stenosis, is to replace it. So, YouTube friends, that's what I'm faced with. And the question is, how many years of your life does this take off? That's what I'm faced with. Is it 5 years? Is your life shortened by 5 years? Is your life shortened by 10 years? So I'm 70. So, and I have other problems, but this little problem here has been foremost in my mind, and it haunts me. It's been haunting me for the last few days. And I'm going to say something radical here. If you've got an inclination, if you have a strong intuition, if you're praying and the Holy Spirit is guiding you, and it's roaring in your mind saying, you need to get a second opinion. If you're having chest pains, you tire easily, you get winded easily, and your doctor, say you're going to a cardiologist, and they have this cavalier attitude, this sort of like, well, let's wait and see attitude, or we'll see you in 6 months. Let's see how everything's going. Get a second opinion. Don't worry about hurting the doctor's feelings. Get a second opinion, because time is your enemy. When you have a problem with this aortic valve, time is your enemy. The cardiologist needs to act fast and not say, well, we'll see in 6 months. Let's see how things are going. No, there's no pill, there's no magic elixir, there's no medicine, there's no prescription that can fix this. The only thing that can fix an aortic valve is they've got to go in there and replace it. And that's what I'm faced with. So, what are you going to do? Life is life, such is life. It's like winning the lottery in reverse. It's like winning the lottery in reverse. It's like that song, "Oh, Lucky Man." Oh, what a lucky man he was. I forget who sang that song now. It was around 1972. I'm thinking Emerson, Lake and Palmer, but I'm not sure. Oh, what a lucky man he was. So, at any rate, that's the lowdown on the aortic valve. I might cover the aortic valve again in another YouTube adventure, but that's it, folks. As little Porky Pig would end the Looney Tunes cartoons, I remember when I was a kid. That's all, folks. That's it. It's got to be, they got to go in there, got to get the old scalpel out, either through coming in, they can come in through the femoral artery and come up through the aorta and laparoscopically replace it, or the old-fashioned way, get a jigsaw, cut your ribs, break your ribs open, actually go in there, hold the heart, and cut the heart and go. It's fun time at the OK Corral, So yeah, sometimes life deals you a bum hand, and there's really nothing you can do about it. You just accept it. You say, well, that's I got a bum hand here. So, but that's it. Left atrium, left ventricle. Mitral valve is between the left atrium and left ventricle. and this is a horrible. I don't know if they still have these cigarettes, L&M cigarettes, L&M. That's how I remembered it. And then the mitral valve ends in an L, so that's the left atrium, left ventricle, mitral valve. Aortic valve is between the left ventricle and the ascending aorta. And how I used to remember it, the crazy thing, is that L.A., Los Angeles, L.A., left ventricle, the L in the left ventricle, the A in aortic valve, L.A. So that's it, L and M cigarettes. I know that's a terrible way to remember something, but it worked for me. So, and then you have the pulmonic vein pours into the left atrium. So this was a very, I just remember the word PAL, and just forget the A would stand for atrium, but the P in the word PAL, pulmonic vein, left ventricle, think of PAL. And what I used to do is, this was a personal one, LP Lincoln Park. LP Lincoln Park. So that's it, This little baby here is giving me a lot of problems. And it's been going on for quite a few years, where I would do the hedges. And I'm sure some of you would be thinking, wow, he's only done 3 hedges and he's taking a rest, And I wondered about it myself. But thank goodness I went to the cardiologist. I got a second opinion and went to this wonderful cardiologist. And she is got everything in 4th gear. So I would love to, when I get this replaced, to if I could get somebody to go into the operating room and videotape my getting operated on, that would make a good YouTube adventure. So can't take it too serious, you know what I mean? Like Rod Stewart sang in Every Picture Tells a Story. I wouldn't quote you no Dickens, Shelley, or Keats, because it's all been said before. Just laugh it off. You didn't have to come here anyway. Oh, well, such is life. Such is life. So if you believe in God, please say a prayer for me. Life is tough. Okay, folks. So that's it for our diagrammatic educational aspect of this YouTube episode. Be right back. So, YouTube friends, thus ends what I believe may well be our first anatomical educational video. The aortic valve. So, yeah, I have 7 tests to go through for this month of September through October 15th. I'm not complaining, but this is where I'm at. So, you get bad news, what can you do? Just laugh it off, I'm 70 years old. I had 70 good years, So got to act off Broadway in 2 plays, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington and The Owl and the Pussycat. I had 4 of my plays produced. I owned my own newspaper at one point. And got to work in public relations and this big, humongous telecommunications corporation. Worked at an ad agency for a number of years, and so hosted TV shows for about 10 years. So I had a good life, So whatever happens, happens. You know what I mean? 70, 70 is better than 60, you know. So, your body starts breaking down. What are you gonna do, you know? So anyway, well, keep a good thought. As Barney Fife would say, keep a good thought. What are you gonna do? Life is life. Life, such is life. You know, you have to have the philosophical approach to life, and you just can't get all bummed out and sit there and be all depressed. You know, so you try to, you know, pick up a Dick Tracy comic book and cheer yourself up, you know, and watch Tombstone Epitaph, you know. So what are you gonna do, you know? So I'm gonna sign off. So stay happy, stay positive, and ironically, look who's talking. Stay healthy. This is Richard Mabey. Sign.